Hi, came about across this today. Took a screenshot. Dick Van Dyke he turned 100. Good for him. That's quite an accomplishment. Let's see what he wrote. Talk shows. The guest and the host have just met each other. Why are they pretending to be best friends? He wrote the article. This is him talking, basically. This to me implies that he's not in the big club. He's not in that. I was following his channel a year or two ago. Even left him a comment, I think, a comment or two. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned that everything's being scripted out. With that in mind, under political shows, he goes, everyone is reading from a teleprompter. Even the arguments, in quotes, are all planned out. How is this useful to anyone? Well, it isn't. It means everything's rigged and fake. And again, this shows that apparently Dick Van Dyke is a normal human being who is outside of the loop. I refer to them as demented medium loops. Came up with that years ago. I forget exactly when. So we're looped in, and they know what we're looped into. They, them. I was trolling fault lines, and I got a response once from John Kiriakou, the pro waterboarding CIA agent. Or actor, acting as CIA agent. Are all those people claiming to be ex-CIA, or were they really? I have doubts. Anyway, he told me, so what? Everyone knows. He was like, to paraphrase, going by memory here, he's like, everything's scripted. Everyone knows everything's scripted. Calm down, little fella. Him, not me. It's like F you to each and every one of them. And this shows if Dick Van Dyke can see that everyone's reading from a teleprompter, he doesn't elaborate on it as I have done. Guy's 100 years old. Can't expect him to wake up completely and start becoming this great historic figure at 100. And myself, I'm banned, shadow banned, and stuff like that. They stopped. I think they faked the page stats, and I went a little bit more viral than they're portraying it. That'll about wrap it up. There's really not anything else for me to say on this. My shrinks. The last thing, my shrink tends to like drop these ideas on me and they stick. And then I ponder them. The last one was there's too much going on in my head. And I noticed that today when I was checking in on the fake viral Candace Owens, Jimmy Dore stuff. So Jimmy Dore does something on Patrick Bet David, who is a confirmed con artist. I blogged on him 3-4 years ago. He running some type of insurance scam, like a Tony Robbins type ripoff thing. Is that the guy's name? Tony Robbins. One of those things, motivational. And then he has Candace Owens on. So Candace Owens goes on. Nick Fuentes. No one's watching. No one gives a fuck. No one's watching this shit. because they're scripted, and it's obvious they're scripted. And it's why Jimmy Dore mimicked me on numerous occasions that I documented and proved, where people can see what I'm saying and go, oh, wow, he mimicked. Why is that Jimmy Dore show mimicking the Nobody? But then they might find out the Nobody actually was at the top of the zeitgeist back in 2011. 2012-ish. I was frickin' being played around with. The guy, Adrian Lamo's buddy, Neil Rauhauser, claimed I was Puerto Rico's right-hand man in the Wienergate. And there's a SWAT gate. Puerto Rico got swatted, and then someone claiming to be just a blogger like myself, he got swatted. Ron Breinart got smeared as the swatter. Anywho, be great if someone like Liver King with his 10 million or whatever he has, if he just hired professional, technical video forensics, whatever it is called, and if he just made a documentary on how fake and 100% scripted the Joe Rogan shows are, that's all it would take. So Dick Van Dyke, it's a one or two sentences. Everyone is reading from a teleprompter. Even the arguments are all planned out. How is this useful to anyone? The only reason it persists is because they're obviously also faking the stats. Whether that means the nobodies like you and I get suppressed to these so-called big channels getting monster page number view stats that just can't be true, that aren't true. They're all tweaking out. They're all junkies. I picked up on the patterns. I studied social theory in Ireland. I'm not trying to rub it in anyone's mug. It is what it is. And the claim of myself having been Lenny Bruce in the previous life, it's true. And the only reason I mention that is, well, I think it's pretty wild if it's true, which I think it's true. I'm not going to explain all the little details that make me think that, but it's true. People can hear it in the singing that I did. The point of that is that we all come back. We all frickin' come back. That's what that is. And maybe that brings people some comfort, that the idea that Lenny Bruce was reincarnated and that he's out there somewhere. Well, actually right here in this microphone, but that's a digression. The point, the theoretical idea is that if Lenny Bruce made it back, then so is all of you. You were someone before this that you can't remember it. Take care. Dick Van Dyke, not in on it. Not in on it one bit. He says everyone is reading from a teleprompter. Thank you, Dick Van Dyke. I don't know if he got that idea from myself, which is possible. He had a small channel even a couple years ago, and I noticed that. So he might have seen what I said and thought about it. Or the other thing is, if he didn't pick that up from myself, then that just shows that the idea is out there regardless of myself. Or is that irregardless? All right, take care, everyone. This has been a special breaking news update from Tokyo Shemp News and Entertainment Network.